And we are live. Hey guys, welcome everyone. This is Felipe from the Instantly team, and I have here the great Timothy Wenger. He's a prompt instructor and a community member on our Facebook group. If you haven't joined our Facebook group, don't forget to do so. Call email masterclass by Instantly. We have more than 25,000 members, always exchanging tips and so on. So today we will talk about our newest feature, the AI prompt feature. Tim is going to tell us a little bit like best practices when using AI for cold email. We're just going to wait a few more seconds before we start. Um, but for those signing in on YouTube and Facebook, don't forget to ask your questions. We'll be answering them live. Um, so yeah. I don't know, Tim. In the meantime, if you want to like do a quick intro about yourself.
Yeah. Um, my name's Tim. I like cold email, and because of that, I got into writing prompts for cold emailing and shared some of the stuff with the community, the Facebook community. Um,
Nice,
Created a course too for it, and um, yeah, just love writing prompts. I think it's super fun. So
nice, nice. And what actually got you into like this stuff? Like, what inspired you into combining like prompts with cold email because it's very niche. So, was it like a specific need that you had, or did something else inspire you?
yeah, great question. Um, yeah, so I really got obsessed with ChatGPT and using it for the cold email copywriting. And it was very specifically, I was trying to figure out how to make it write like a human. That was like something I was very focused on and spent many hours trying a ton of different prompts and having it write lots of sequences for me because I wanted something that could reliably give me content that I liked that I thought would convert, you know? So I got really into it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that
I'd
makes
say that's way.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. All right, great. So, guys, we'll first do like I'm just gonna very quickly show you like this new feature in case you haven't seen it. So we're very excited about this feature, AI prompts, which basically allows users to use OpenAI's API into Instantly. So I will show you quickly how it works, and then later on, we're gonna like ask Tim a few questions on how to take advantage of this stuff, and also like how to basically write better cold emails using AI. So let me show you first our feature. So the first thing you have to do is sign up, sign into Instantly. So if you don't have an account, instantly.ai, you can do a free trial, no credit card ask. So you go to campaigns, and then you either create or open a campaign that you already have. And what you do is you go to leads, and in the leads, um, you'll see this brain right here. And it will say, so you click on it, you will see first this template hub, public templates, like it's like what the community has created and that they're sharing among each other. So you will see a few templates from Tim himself because he wrote a few community member, and yeah, he already like has built a few. Some other from the community have already built a few. So we'll go in a minute to see some of these templates. If you're just starting out using it, like what you might have to do is go to settings and key of this section. You will put, and if you don't have one, the API key, you just click here, follow the instructions. It's pretty straightforward. Copy and paste the key, and that's it. You just need to make sure you have credits because in order to use OpenAI API, you need to have some credits. It's very actually, and Instantly doesn't charge anything extra for this feature. So yeah, basically we want to make it affordable for everyone. So if you have an hyper growth account, if you have an account with Instantly, you will have access to it. Um, Once you have set up that, you can create your own templates. So you can just go here and start from scratch, creating your own prompts and so on. Or you can go through Template Hub and use any of the ones that we have. You can also use these public prompts to inspire yourself to create your own prompts. For example, with this, the company name these are actually prompts like that solve real life problems. So sometimes we have databases when we're sending cold emails where the company name has these weird characters. I mean, they're not weird, but they're like the legal names, like I don't know, like instantly or instantly CO or instantly SA, like all these legal terms that sometimes the company names have, and that they look very weird sometimes on cold emails. So there is this prompt. So all you have to do is you click on the prompt, then you will see two options, which is input and output. Where are you gathering the data from that you would like to apply the prompt to, and then output is where do you want to send the to in this in the lead section. So you can name the column how and use like the suggestion that it will give you. So later on, all you have to do is just click on generate. And when you click on it, it will give you this message. In your AI column, and then just refresh the page in a few minutes. It should just take a few minutes. So if you're doing like a few hundred contacts, it shouldn't take more than a few minutes. If you're encountering any problems, reach out to our support. They will be happy to help you. So here you will see the results. So on this tab, you will see that all the names have been cleaned up. So they remove characters for this company. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward, really. Like like rather than GoDaddy LLC, GoDaddy, whatever the legal name, it will just show up like this. So if I want to include this in my call, more professional, it will look more authentic. Um, so that should be better for cold emailing. So that should be around it. It's pretty straightforward, like I said. So Tim, how about, I think you had like a disclaimer about OpenAI you were telling me about before. Like, I don't know if you want to tell people like a few observations, like for those that are just starting out, like using
Yeah.
this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So the API, it's generally under 3.5 GBT. And so when you're constructing prompts, it can't handle advanced prompts, right? So for example, you can't tell it it's really bad at following complex stuff. So multiple commands, right? You have to keep it pretty simple. So the company cleanup one, it took a while to make that simple enough that it would follow exactly what we wanted, even though it's a simple task, right? Um, so I wouldn't create a prompt that says clean up the title and now put it in a opening line for an email. I would only focus on the one task that you wanted to complete. And a way, if you want to do more complex tasks, my suggestion is you break it down into different steps and create a prompt for each step, and then call on the information in the new columns that you create. That would be my suggestion, because 3.5 does not is not as advanced. So
Yeah, that is very interesting, and I think we can start like talking a little bit more about like how to take advantage of this stuff, like from a beginner's perspective and then from an advanced perspective. So for example, if you were just beginning to use this stuff like AI prompts in cold email using this feature, like what would be your suggestions for someone just starting out?
yeah, I think a great way to utilize this would be to have write an opening sentence for your cold emails, right? But you still have to be a little creative. But you could have it call on the industry or the the location, like the geography of where they're from, um, and then curate a sentence that's like, "Hey, uh, are you rooting for this local sports team?" Or is the weather as terrible as the internet says? And you can reference that. Or like what I remember telling you was creating a dad joke based off of the industry. There's lots of creative ways you can um, have it uh, curate information for you. But I think those are like really good basic ones to start with.
Nice. And what about like for someone who is more advanced? Like what do you think are like the best practices or something that you would recommend for someone that like they want to move forward more into their journey, on being like an advanced prompt user?
Yeah. So I think if you're more like getting more advanced, wanting to do more complex output, like in this scenario, you'd really have to have a good map of the sequence that you're sending, and then figuring out how custom messaging or custom information would really promote what you're pushing. And so it would depend on your objective, and the niche that you're in. And from that, you could create more complex prompts broken down into simple steps to get you the information that you want, customized per recipient or prospect, however you want to put it. So,
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And comes to data, like what do you think is like like good source of data that one should aim for when building prompts or using prompts? Like, is it industries? Is it like what do you think is like it's like a good yeah,
yeah,
source of
great
data?
question as well. So, like, as long as your lead source is reliable and actually up to date, I would go for geography. I think you can have a lot of angles of relating to someone through their city or their country or their state. I think industry is important. Company district description is also really good. Um, it would seem that it'd be better to have more information than not enough. Um, so if you can find the competitors, you can bring the competitors' names in. Be like, hey, we want to help you beat this competitor in this specific niche. So angles like that, the more you can get, the better, in my opinion. Um, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And so in terms of some of the prompts that you will see in in the template in the library, which ones do you think that will be most useful for people, and like do you have any recommendations from some of the ones that they will find in the library, like how to like tweak them for their personal use cases? Because I believe like some people they might have a different use case and they might need to tweak those. Like what would be like some of the recommendations for those people?
Yeah. So data cleanup is always a huge suggestion, which I'm glad you used the company cleanup as an example, because there's so many times I get emails with the full legal um, suffixes, and it doesn't look good, right? So
Yeah.
cleaning up titles, cleaning up company names are a great way to make you look more professional. Um, Opening lines, I think that's where it's really dependent on your niche. And are you trying to be funny? Are you trying to be professional? Are you trying to be casual? What are you trying to reference? What is your copy that's following the opening line? Are you trying to push a pain point, or are you just trying to build rapport? Um,
Yeah.
that seems to be the most custom one that a lot of people use, and that generally references, depending on what you want it to give, like the company description. Does your company value integrity and customer service? If so, we should talk. It depends on what you're trying to push.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
that makes sense. And when it comes to um, building prompts, do you think it's best to build prompts that like should be used for building an entire email, or is it better to like use a prompt for different sections of the email? Like, because I know some people that they build the entire email using AI,
mhm.
and then like there are other people that they only use AI for building the first line. So what do you think will work best, like when you balance like saving time and performance, for example?
Yeah, yeah. So like, I don't know that I would use the API to write the whole email. I personally, I wouldn't do that. I would most likely use it for either an opening line or closing line, or maybe an injection of information for the industry or
Yeah.
reference to their company. Um, that would be my personal suggestion. Um, but if you want to do it, you can. It's just the quality of it will probably not be that great, because once again, 3.5 isn't very good at following more advanced prompts, and you're not going to get good copy if it's more complex. So,
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. So when it comes to um like some other best practices in terms of like prompting in general? Like, do you have anything else that you might suggest? And I want to like use some of the examples that you share on the community. So for instance, I remember in the community once you share a really funny example when you actually trick a lawyer, and you, I mean, it's not like you trick, but you basically that person, like they believe that you were actually writing the email yourself, but you actually use a
Yeah,
prompt to write that email. And
yeah,
that had a lot of traction in the community, in our Facebook community. Like I think you had like 4,000 people like watching that post that you made. And it was very impressive. Like how do you achieve that? Like what are some of the best practices to achieve something like that?
yeah. So that one was a funny one because, as a lot of people do at the end of their sequences, they do a breakup email, right? And I wanted something overly poetic and a breakup letter, like a love letter. And so I through a long series of prompts, I got it to generate a love letter, and I thought it was hysterical. And so I started sending it, and yeah, I yeah got a lead from it, very good lead for the agency I was working with at that point. Um,
Yeah, for
but
SEO,
like
right? Which is
yeah,
very
SEO,
competitive, I think. Yeah,
yes, very
very.
competitive. But yeah, so like that one, uh, I had it copy a use the tonality of a copywriter that I like, and then I added some other directives. That's a great way to get pretty human level copywriting out of it. The other part that, like, just in general, if you're using ChatGPT for right the premium or any other AI platform, I would say training it on the context of what you're doing is really important. And what I mean by that is the AI doesn't know what you're selling or who you are, and it doesn't really know who you're trying to reach out to, right? So you have to paint that picture of like, hot. So like, hey, I'm selling SEO. We're a small business. We're focused on these services. We're reaching out to these people, this industry, this type of person. They've never heard from us. I need the messages to be assuming that message 2 through 7. If they're getting message 4, that means they haven't responded to 1 through 3, right? And if you create that context, it drives the copy to be more fluid and closer to your desired output, I would say. But
Yeah, that's a good point. In fact, like, what do you think will be like if you will have to list like the factors or um, like the best practices to make the results of a copy, like the output, like sound as human as possible?
yeah, I think that the context is a huge part of it, right? Um, you you can also have it copy famous copywriters. That's a great way. But tonality, right? There's tons of different tonalities. So if you specify, hey, I want this to be in a casual plus professional tone, don't use any compliments and don't use any sales language, and use this type of language which is specific to this industry, blah blah blah. If you give it those type of directives, it does a lot better. The hard part is these are all things that as humans we naturally calculate when we're writing or talking, but you have to analytically sit there and think about that. And if you're able to extract that from your thought process and give it to the AI, then it will do better at writing the output.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That's definitely like very interesting, but I guess that takes a little bit of time. No, like I think like for a probably like a beginner user, it's probably better to keep the prompts short and sweet, because I heard that for someone starting out, like when you make like a prompt too long, like the outputs can be a bit like not
Mhm.
not the best, so to say.
Yeah, sometimes. And also the other hard part too is that uh, the landscape is always changing. So prompts that I was using 3 months ago don't work now, and so you still have to like stay up on top of it because the output isn't always going to be the same. So, for example, I was really into using um, NLG. I think I told you about this too, but NLG means natural language generation. which most of these models do. But if you specify it, the language model coming out and the output of the prompt um, feels more relaxed and human. But more recently, when I've tried that, it doesn't change at all because it says, "Oh, we're already writing in a natural language generation model." So um, sometimes the landscape of AI itself will change and how
Yeah.
it responds to what you're saying.
Yeah, that is very interesting actually, and I think it's also good to like remind our users that um, instantly doesn't control the results or the outputs
Right.
that come from the prompts. So bear in mind that the reason why we have this public library where people can just build their prompts and share them among the community is because basically the results will change with time and they will depend on how you build the prompts. And like Tim said,
Yes.
like a prompt that used to work like a few, some months ago might not work the same way anymore because the model keeps changing and the AI keeps changing. So
Yep.
that's something like very very important to mention to the community.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, awesome. And when it comes to writing, these love letters, I think you mentioned, or like these breakup letters, like
Yeah.
uh, so if someone else also had to write like that's a very interesting way of using AI on prompts to send like a call email that is very disruptive, because I feel like people are sending like the same call emails, that basically like people are following the same structure that they see out there, and I feel like standing
Yes.
out today is very important. So how will you, like, if you were advise someone to start building their own breakup email using AI, like how will you build that? Like what will be the prompts, like if you can, like, I mean, yeah, how will you build
Yeah.
that?
So like right now, how I would approach it is I would go to ChatGPT or whatever platform, and I would say, write me a. I would give it the full context of the sequence, right? But then I would find a humorous copywriter, right? So in that case, I use a guy who he's over Charm Offensive. I think it's John something. Anyway, find someone that you like, who you think is funny, or the style that you like, and you give it the directive of what you want and to give it output in that style. That's what I did there. Um, but even with like uh, image generation, right? You can tell it, hey, give me a logo in the design of this top designer, and it'll do it, and it'll copy their style quite well. So it's just a matter of you asking it, or you with the AI finding someone to copy and then doing that. I find that to be the easiest way to generate fun stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. And what are some of the sources that you get information from to improve, or like what do you think will be like the best way for someone to improve into this stuff if they want to venture more into using prompts for call email? Do you think it's just practicing and writing prompts and sending emails, or do you see like reading from some sort of source? Like what do you think will be the best way?
Yeah, I haven't found a lot of value in the free prompt guides and stuff out there. I find they're all very basic. I think if you want to learn more, um, it would be creating a prompt and then telling ChatGPT or whatever platform you're using your objective, and then ask it to critique and openly think with you until it helps you achieve your goal, and it will help you with the problem solving process, right? So you can ask it like, hey, this what assumptions does this prompt have, and how can I eliminate those, so you have the full context, and then it'll list like 15 questions, and if you answer all of them, then it's more informed and can help you appropriately. I think the tool itself is the best way to learn. You just have to ask questions, though. That's the hard part.
Yeah. Okay, that's very interesting. Like I honestly, like, I have never engaged into like an actual conversation with ChatGPT or OpenAI where I ask it to like improve my copies or stuff like that. So like
Hmm.
how do you word that? Like how do you start like because usually when I okay, when the way I use it, and I'm a I'm not such an advanced user for prompts and AI, but the way I use it is usually like I ask it to make small adjustments, But I noticed
Mhm.
that advanced users like yourself, you actually have like proper conversations with AI. Like if you're
Mhm.
talking to a real person, and then like so they actually criticize your copy, like you were just saying, which is very impressive. So how do you approach that? How do you make that happen?
Just like a conversation, right? Like, so imagine it's like it's your teacher or your tutor, or maybe it's someone you hired, right? Maybe that's better. Like, imagine like it's a copywriter that you've hired, and you give them the only part is it's not a human, so it takes extremely literally what you're saying, right? So if you're like, write about a red balloon, it'll write about a red balloon, but it could be 5 pages long, and you only want it one sentence. So if you ask that being that you've hired for its input to improve what and get closer to what you want, that's how I view it, as a conversation, right? um, you can ask it to play the role of a chief marketing officer or play the role of a sales leader, and ask it for feedback on the style of the email, or the intent. And if you can have it do all these things, and it will be very informative. I've found it's not necessarily, like, I would say there's a fine line. AI is doesn't know what truth is, right? It doesn't know what facts are. It's just a curator, right? So I wouldn't use it for industry data, right? But I would definitely use it for curating email copy that I think is good, if that makes sense. So
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually. And I feel like whenever I send a campaign, or I see that someone has a really high performing campaign, they use a lot of the what's happening right now into their copy to make it work better, and the results are amazing. Like for example,
right,
I think like you were just mentioning like a few examples. Like for example using the city field, and try to build first lines based on the city they're based on. So all
yeah,
of those stuffs are, I mean, all of those things are really really interesting. So what do you think would be um, some things that you see standing out in the future moving forward with you by using AI? Because I feel like obviously this will become a bit like more massive with time. So
yeah,
how do you feel like one can stand out in the future using AI for cold emailing?
yeah, yeah. I think a great way. um,
Okay.
so the more you understand prompts and engineer, like engineering that, it'll be a big deal, because we're going to get to the point where I think that most copy will be written 100% by AI as it gets closer and closer to human. So if we're able to understand its logic and how to direct it to get what we want, I think that will exponentially help us, because as things get more advanced, we'll still need to know how to stand out, right? If everyone's using AI to write copy, how are you going to stand out from that? If it's pulling from the same model, you have to know how to direct it, right? And so that's how my thought process goes with it all. I'm not sure if
Yeah.
that really answers your question.
No, it makes a lot of sense. And actually I feel also like um at least for cold emailing, like like right now one of the things that is working the best for at least for best performing users is using spintax. So when you
Mm.
combine AI and spintax,
Oh,
you get amazing results. So and when it comes to like using the right prompts to generate the right spintax, like what do you think like will be the best practices for that?
yeah, Spintax is hard, because so I've used some advanced Spintax prompts on. I tried it on 3 or 4 different platforms, and all of them uh, struggled in a different way. And so ChatGPT 4 does pretty good with that type of stuff. Um, but honestly, like using it at Claude or Bing, it can give you a different output and can be helpful. But Spintax is a great way. I love Spintax for generating different variations of the same email. I think people should use that. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I
So
don't know.
free ship offers asking, do you have a Word document of some scripts you can put into ChatGPT? So actually we do, and we will we have one actually in the Instantly Accelerator platform, and also in yeah, you're asking for prompts, yeah. So yeah, and we also have in our group, but I don't know, Tim, if you have any that you would like to share. Like, do you have a file with prompts? Maybe we can share that later for those who are watching.
No, I
Maybe
mean,
we can build one and like share it with the community, so like so people who are watching this, we can put the link later with some prompts.
you could pull the ones from the public library and just put those in a Word doc for people.
Yeah,
But
that'll be useful. Yeah, but anyways, we already have a few prompts in Instantly. Tim has already added a few as a community member, so you can check those out.
yeah,
Check out our feature, the AI prompt feature. We just launched that feature. So
yeah,
um, yeah, the whole goal is that the community can use the prompts right there and take advantage of that. So
yep. That's the goal.
yeah. So um, when it comes to using prompts and AI in call email for different regions, like, do you see like a difference when you write copies depending on the country, or do you also need to specify that to the OpenAI or to ChatGPT? Like, do you often like see like there is anything in special that you need to change, like the way it understands data? Because um, I don't know if the AI thinks like, for example, like an average American thinks, or
Right.
like a global citizen thinks. Like, do you also need to specify that when you're targeting different markets?
I don't think it can hurt, right? To like the more context you can give AI, the better, right? So like if you're targeting, let's say you're targeting influencers in San Francisco, right? And they're all like 20 years old generally. If you give it that model and then tell it to write in their level of language, um, it will definitely, it will for sure impact how it writes. So I think the more context you can give the AI, the better. 100%. So,
Nice, nice. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So I think this will be like the last questions, but
yeah,
so Steven is asking, what is the best way to learn about using your new feature in Instantly? Do you have a website link, or will I see something once I log in? So, Steven, great question. So we were just showing this at the beginning of the video. But yeah, basically, when you log in into Instantly, I'm gonna show you again that
yeah, do it again.
in case. Yeah. So let me share my screen here. There we go. So when you log in into Instantly and you go to the campaign section, um, basically you will see the here you will see in the campaign section logo in the leads tab. So you just go to leads and you will see this small tab. One second. There we go. So you will see this small icon here that says AI prompts, and then you will see like all of our public prompts right here, so you can use them. They're ready to go. You even you need to make sure that you connect your OpenAI API. So you connect it right here, and follow all the instructions to connect it. And then in the template, in my templates, you can create your own, copy the public ones, and tweak them, and so on. So it's pretty straightforward. So yeah, it's we don't have any additional cost for that. So, which was actually your second? It was Steven's second question. If there is any extra or fee for this feature? No, there is not. If you are a paid user, a paid instantly user, we don't charge anything extra for that. You only have to pay for the OpenAI credits, which are pretty affordable. Like, they're incredibly cheap.
Yeah,
So
incredibly cheap.
and then Steven is asking if this new tool is only for sending outbound messages, or can it be used for replies? Oh, that's a great question. So for the moment, it's only for sending outbound messages, but we will definitely keep that in consideration. So yeah, and Yeah, and thanks for the comments as well. Like someone saying they love the idea of mixing AI with spintex. Yeah, we also love that too. I mean, that's honestly like the main way I use AI.
Hmm.
Like yeah, I will before I will use like cheap GPT for cheats to clean the data. Like I will just use Google Sheets and then use this extension of ChatGPT, and then I will like clean the company data and so on. But now with this feature, like you don't have to like use another platform. All you do is use you have the data and instantly you just run a few prompts, boom, you clean the company names, boom, you
Yep.
clean let's say you have data like where all the first names like they have a bad format, like they are
Yeah.
all in like I don't know, like in caps. So yeah, with a prompt you can just clean all the first names, company names, you can clean all of the data and just have it ready to use. So um Emil is asking, do you get any special perks from posting prompts in the community? Well, I guess you do. Like your name will be there, and if it's a good prompt, people will see it and they will know you're good at it. Like Tim, for example. Tim's name is there. He's pretty good at what he does. He has a few courses on using AI for cold email. So yeah, I guess like you can build a reputation around it if you build good prompts, but also you're helping the community, you're helping others. So it also has to do with the community spirit. So yeah, but that's still a good question. Um, Another question is when it says the number of runs next to the temp, what does the number of runs on a template mean? It basically means how many times a template has been used. So that will tell you like how popular a public template is. So
Hmm.
yeah. So another question: do you have a prompt in Instantly already where it's not a first line, but instead like an ending line, like something to close the emails? We don't, but that's a great
No.
suggestion. So, like, if someone in the community is watching this and they want to build that, well, there you go. Like, I think that's a great idea. Team, how will you advise someone to build a prompt for that? Like, to close an email. Like, what do you think would be a great way to close an email using AI?
You could, if you're doing like a call to action, a random call to action, then you could just work on guiding it to select a random call to action. That would be an easy closing line. Like, let's jump on, I don't know, feed it a few models of what you like, and then tell it to randomize it. I would give that a shot.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true. We actually have a list of call to actions that we recommend in our Facebook community. Like I think we share a list of like 25 call to actions. So I think that would be a great prompt, like a prompt where you add all of those call to actions and somehow you align those call to actions with, like you were mentioned before, with like the location and the gender,
Hmm.
like and then you make sure that it makes a lot of sense. Like for example, I don't know, I mean, um probably if you're targeting, like you said, someone in San Francisco, they might, like, I actually, now that I think about it, like when I engage with people in San Fran, they're extremely busy, and they literally like close the emails with LMK, like let me know, like they don't even write like any longer than that. So I guess they will appreciate a call to action that is super short versus someone
Yeah.
like in the Midwest, or
Yep.
um, where they're a bit more chatty, or the southern part of the U.S.
Or you could do like the call to action, be like, we should have um, a digital lunch of while you're having, and just have it name some local food that's specific to
Oh,
there. You know,
oh, that's
like
a
there's
good
all
one.
sorts of different angles you could do, just to be
Yeah,
funny. Or like, if I can't bring value, I'll buy you your favorite pizza if they're from Brooklyn. Like if they're from New York area. You could do something funny like that. So
yeah, yeah. So another question is, do you feed the prompt how long you want the output to be, like limiting the
yes,
number of sentences?
yes, 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 1,000 times. But I don't do like how many sentences. I do how many words. So I'll give it a range of like from 5 to 10, or from 10 to 20. Like that. That will help a lot, and it still won't follow it, but it'll be closer. Um, so yeah.
When you say like it won't follow it, do you mean that it's shorter or longer or both?
It just depends. Sometimes it'll, like, if you tell it to do like 10 to 20 words, it will consistently give you 50 words, like constantly. So
That's interesting.
yeah, 3.5 has a hard time following. So, but yes, I highly recommend doing that. Telling it either how many characters or how many words you want it to be. So
Okay. And with 4.4.0, like, do you see that being less of a problem? Like,
yes, a
following those
thousand
instructions.
percent.
Okay.
Like you can like even just go over to ChatGPT, right? Like not using the API and do a spin tax prompt in 3.5 and then do the exact same spin tax prompt in 4.0 and it's completely different. Like the logic is way, way, way better. So
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Another question is, what is the best performing personalization idea for sending con emails other than city and location? I think we were just covering that, but I think we can mention it again for those that are just tuning in. Tim, what do you think
yeah,
would be another?
I don't know what the best personalization point is, but any point of information that you can get on your recipients and use that, you have to be creative in how you direct it, right? So that's why we're using the city they live in to reference some sort of local food or the weather or a sports team, or if it's an industry, maybe make some industry jokes or reference common industry headaches, right? Like you're like, oh, if they're in construction, man, it's really hard to find good workers these days, isn't it? Have it do something like that because that's what they all love to
Yeah,
gripe about. So,
that's a good one because I remember you went very niche when you were working on your SEO agency. I mean, and using the AI prompts and everything, um, and you managed to make these people reply back, like the lawyers and everything.
yeah,
And I think that, yeah, what you told me was that you will like go very niche per industry, and then yeah, you will use the prompts to personalize the message based
yes,
on the buyer persona, on who they are. It's not just the industry, but basically like who is receiving the message. So I think you will
yes,
customize it like in terms of age, and you will put a lot of variance in it. Like,
yeah, yeah. You got to think about all of that and anything that you can find. So, like, let's just real quick. Let's use for example, you're reaching out to business owners who are in their 60s, right? Like people are reaching out to them for, if are they thinking about retirement? Are they thinking about selling their business? There's all sorts of reasons why people are soliciting them. But if you can make some sort of observation that the whole demographic that you're targeting, like let's say they all are baby boomers, right? And so you can make some sort of reference to something that all most of them should get, right? And you start creating prompts to make a baby boomer uh, reference or joke or cite some sort of historical thing that they
yeah,
experienced, you know.
yeah,
So
that makes sense. Yeah, we have another question here. So so Uri is asking, is this for writing emails or does the AI write each email separately? I hope that makes sense. Um, so Uri, I mean, you can basically use this for basically
whatever.
whatever you want. Basically, the way we built this feature in Instantly is so when you are on the lead section, you can create from like basically you can create a column for each one of the contacts. So uh, you can create like first lines. You can clean the data that you already have. So you can use the prompts for like the world is yours basically, so it's up to your
Yeah,
creativity. So you can run a prompt and then use this to like clean the name. So let's say that you have a list where all the names like are in the wrong format, and then you can run a prompt to clean that, and then it will clean all of that. Or you can run a prompt to write the first lines, or you can create a prompt to write a separate email message for each one of your contacts, and each
yeah,
email will be unique. Or even make a prompt that will create the spin text for each one of the contacts. So yeah,
right,
yeah,
exactly.
um, yeah. So yeah, I think that would be it. I appreciate you guys all of your questions. Oh, I think let's answer just a few last ones. So Steven is actually asking, have you seen your KPIs increase using AI call emails? Can you talk about the improvements? Like, Tim, how? Like, do you have any KPIs that you would like to share with the community?
Uh, no, I don't have any off the top of my that. That comes back to like it's going to be up to you to direct the AI to increase your KPIs, right? So it's like if you're working on response rate, then you have to work on your call to action and your copy, right? And then you just have to test it to death, pretty much,
Yeah.
until you find something that works. So I've had some campaigns where they were doing okay, and then I worked on like 7 different variations with AI of the same campaign to get them to work better. So I don't have any specific data to call on right now though. So, but yeah,
So will you say that AI accelerates the testing process and the A/B testing process to get to like the best performing campaigns? So I think
yes,
that's what you're trying to say. It just makes the process easier and faster.
yes, expedites the process if you use it that way. It's not going to do it for you. You still have to direct it. So
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, also, like at least from our end, like, and like when we look at our best performing users, like we have users that have already been using AI for a while. And I think I can talk a little bit about the KPIs. And we have seen people that they have doubled their metrics, or even tripled their metrics. But those are like the top performing guys.
mhm.
It's not impossible to triple your metrics. It's just it takes a while. You have to learn this stuff well. But yeah, we have seen some of those users, and the way they do it is they basically um, they build copies that offer solutions, and I mean, they offer like a targeted solution for whoever is receiving that message. So basically the AI analyzes what your company is doing and so on, and
Mhm.
it matches what you offer as a company, and then it combines those two factors, like what you do as a company and what you are selling, as a provider, and then it makes like a that is just unique, because it basically tells you, like, I don't know, like, Tim, I know that you have I don't know, a cleaning company. I mean,
Right,
the AI doesn't even mention that, but it says like, I know that people like the way we could help to a cleaning company like yours is blah 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 blah. And it's like perfectly written. Like it just perfectly analyzes what you do as a company, what I offer as a provider, and it just crafts
right,
this solution that it just makes perfect sense. So,
yeah.
yeah. So So another question is, and I think with this we can just finalize this. After how many emails sent will you adjust your test? That's a great question. So how many do you think will take to like say, okay, I've already like have confirmed this. Like, will you say that it's like 100 emails sent, or like 200 with the same copy using AI? Like, what do you think will
Hmm.
be like best?
I, I think that's personal style. I always like to do like run a whole campaign through 1,000 people, and then alter it, and then alter it. I don't think I ever stop tweaking a campaign, um, but that's just me personally because I'm always trying to get to perform better and better. Um,
Yeah,
but
you're
I
you're
don't know.
you're definitely very passionate about this stuff. So
Hmm.
not
but
surprised.
but I would say
Yeah.
like to answer that, like do test it with at least like 100 people minimum, right? Just to see if you're even getting one response out of 100. So,
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Makes
but
sense. All right,
yeah,
team. I want to thank you a lot for your time, for building some of the prompts for the community, and for always helping the community on Facebook. Once again, guys, go check out our newest feature. All you have to do is just go to the campaign section on instantly.ai, the AI prompt feature, and then you just go to the prompt icon that we have there in the lead section. You just click on that, and yeah, all you have to do is just either like create your own prompts or use the ones that we have in the public library. You can share your own as well. Yeah, the whole idea is to build like a community library with where people can share their prompts, help each other, and basically make sure that their emails perform better or accelerate their journey on making getting more meetings and getting more replies. So yeah, appreciate
Yeah.
team, taking the time to join this webinar. Thank
Thanks
you
for
guys
having
also
me.
for your questions. So yeah,
Ciao.
we'll see you again next time.